Here's a twist on a northern Thai dish called a larb, usually done with pork mince. It's really spicy with a beautiful fish sauce and lime dressing. Now, instead of doing it with pork, I'm going to flake in some beautiful fresh salmon and wrap it in lettuce cups. A really healthy lunch. So we'll start with our salmon. We need to cook our salmon. I've left the skin on. I will remove it later on, but I like to cook it on the skin just so I've got a bit more control over it and it's going to keep it nice and moist. So a little bit of peanut oil, just a tiny bit because salmon is naturally oily. We'll just coat that in the oil. A pinch of salt, just on both sides. All right, in with our salmon, skin side down, little sizzle there. You'll see that the salmon tenses up slightly. It's actually quite thick, so that's another reason why I don't want this pan to be too hot. I just want to slowly bring up the heat. You'll know that it's time to turn the fish when it's cooked 3/4 of the way. So you'll see the protein change from a deep orange colour to a pink colour. So while that's cooking away, we can prepare the salad components. I am adding lots of beans. Traditionally, you would use some snake beans, but I could only find our green beans, which are just as good. And I'm going to cut these into small bits. Now, you can serve these raw, but I'm going to flash fry them just for a minute to take away some of the rawness. So just cut them into, I'd say 2 centimetre pieces. Okay. So they can go in once the salmon has come out of the pan. We can use the same pan. Some purple shallot or French shallots. I'm just going to finely slice them. These I'm not going to cook. I want to keep them raw. And I like to use these as opposed to the red onions because they're sweeter in flavour. Lots of purple shallot in a larb. The one thing that I'm doing quite different with this is not adding the rice. So usually you would toast off rice and then grind it in a mortar and pestle and then pop that through the salad so you get some crunch. But I won't be adding it to this one to make it slightly different. Some cherry tomatoes. I'm going to quarter these. This is going to get tossed in a large bowl. With lovely plump tomatoes, so bright red. Pop them back in the bowl for later. Let's have a look at the salmon. See how it's changing in colour there? That's what we're after. Just press down on it and that shouldn't take long at all. Grab a big bowl. We can add our French shallots, our tomatoes. To bring this all together, it's about that iconic sauce that goes with this. So in a bowl, we're going to add some lemongrass. We just want to bruise it slightly, just to get some flavour out of that. Because it's quite woody, I use a fine grater like this, just to grate some of this in. You want about, I'd say about half a teaspoon. Great, and don't get rid of that. If you're not going to use it for another stir fry or another sauce, pop that into some boiling water to make a lemongrass tea. Fantastic. We need the juice of 1 lime, lots of lime juice. I'm going to use my nifty juicer to squeeze all of that in there. Okay, the second one. If you don't have a lime and you still want to make this, any acid will do. So you could use a white vinegar for this. Some chilli, 1 long chilli. If you want it extra hot, use a bird's eye chilli. Some garlic, some sugar. And now for seasoning, so saltiness, a good amount of fish sauce, and a hint of soy. Okay, we'll just whisk that together and a little taste. Ooh. Oh, it's so good. You should be able to taste everything with definition. So I can definitely taste the lime juice, the saltiness of the fish sauce, the sugar there, it's just right. So I'm gonna let that sit there just to marinate slightly. We'll wait for this fish to finish cooking. When that comes out, I'll wipe the pan out and just very quickly flash fry our beans. Come out of the pan. I've just allowed it to rest and just been very quickly flash frying our beans. They're still raw inside, so they're still crunch. I'll just add them to our bowl. Look at those beautiful colours, the tomatoes, the green of the beans. I like to add lots of peanuts to this. So that's where we're going to get our crunch instead of the traditional rice that you would add. And herbs, I've got a combination of coriander and mint. You could use some Thai basil, any leaves you like. I'm not being pedantic with it, just want to take most of the leaves off. Sort of using this as a lettuce leaf if you like. And I don't mind if it wilts slightly with the salmon and the beans there. Mint, lots of fresh mint. Don't worry about chopping it. Now for our salmon. In fact, if you want to make this vegetarian, I've done this before with tofu and it works so well. So that comes off. And this is why we love salmon so much. Look how it flakes away. See how it's slightly pink still in the centre? That is perfectly cooked. It should flake away with ease. It should be that deep pink colour in the centre and lighter around the sides. You don't want to overcook salmon. It's beautiful and oily. Nice little bits. Our dressing, just give that another mix just to ensure that that sugar has dissolved in. And we're going to add half of this and the rest we can serve on the side. And we'll give everything a good toss. In fact, I'm going to use a fork and a spoon just so it doesn't break up the salmon too much. Look at the colours here, it's fantastic. All right, now for the fun part, which is wrapping it in the lettuce cup. Grab yourself some baking paper. Place that down. I've got 3 layers of iceberg lettuce here. The outer shell is what you want because they're the widest ones, which means we can add lots of filling and wrap it tightly. So we'll just open it up and we'll fill it with our salmon larb. There's quite a lot of space here, so really fill it up. You want it to be compact. All right, now to wrap this, we're just going to fold over the lettuce and tuck it in as if it were a burrito. Wrap it around, and then again, like you were wrapping a burrito, our paper goes straight over. And then give it a good tight wrap. And of course, you can take that to lunch like that, but the reason the paper's there is just to really compact it, so we're getting that perfect cylinder. And let's have a look at this. Wow, look at that, delicious. I've seen so many different cafes make this and I can see why they're so popular. It's healthy, fun food. It's really easy to put together. Pop that on a plate. That's what I call a bright, healthy lunch that's filling, tasty, with lots of Thai influence there.